This segment of DelmarvaLife is sponsored by TidalHealth.
Hey, wasn't it nice to be able to step outside this morning and not suddenly break out into a sweat? You know, these cooler temperatures we've been enjoying have been a blessing, but anyone here on Delmarva knows that heat and humidity will creep up on us in an instant.
Yeah, just wait a minute, it'll be back. So it's important to moderate how long we spend time under the sun and always watching our hydration levels. It's a topic that we've discussed before, and it bears repeating. So, with us this afternoon, here he is, the Chief Quality Officer of TidalHealth, Dr. Chris Snyder. Glad you're with us. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Good to be here again. Thanks.
Okay, so we're talking about heat-related illnesses. What is the most common sign that we should look for?
Well, there's different levels. So you have heat strokes, which are your worst, and those are, we'll go through a little bit of that. But then heat exhaustion. Then there's just plain old dehydration, sunburn. So there's a lot of element effects of the sun that we really don't understand. But the human body needs to sweat,
Right.
which you said we didn't do today. Sweating is a normal response, and that cooling of sweating is what makes that fan feel better on your system. So remember, the skin's the biggest organ in the body. So if you don't sweat, it's a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try to differentiate between all of those different, the heat stroke and heat exhaustion that you added.
Yeah, so heat strokes are your worst. That's where you get a core temperature, usually over 103. You don't sweat anymore. You become red, and that affects the brain significantly. So it makes you throw up, mental status change, confusion, even passing out.
So that's a 911 call.
Yeah, that's get somebody to us. We need to use IV fluids and cooling, utilizing cold fluids and et cetera. So there's a lot of resuscitative efforts with that. But yeah, somebody's in trouble with that. And the older you are, the more immunocompromised you are, the worse that can be. Yeah. Heat exhaustion's a little bit less. You tend to sweat, but you get kind of cold and clammy. Most of the time, if you cool folks off and hydrate them, they can do okay. As long as they're still sweating, they're usually in pretty good shape. So you can still get nausea, vomiting, and stuff with that, but your core temperature is usually still fairly normal, maybe a little bit up, but not nearly what heat stroke does to you. So those are the biggies.
So that's not a 911 call?
No, typically you can treat those at home, and again, get them to a cool area, cool folks off. Water's a great way to cool yourself off, getting your body temperature back down to 98.
So hydration, I guess, is the big thing.
Yeah, drinking helps. Again, avoiding alcohol, avoiding carbonated, beverages, things that are going to make you pee and get rid of fluid. So if you had a big night last night, I wouldn't recommend going out in 100-degree temp and digging a ditch, especially if you're not used to it.
So what if you do it and you start feeling unwell?
Yeah, so you look for those symptoms. Again, get into a cool environment. That's probably 90% of it, and rehydrate. If you start throwing up, et cetera, then you're probably going to have to go somewhere where we can hydrate you.
Okay, so it turns hot again. We're talking extreme hot. What are the best things we should do? So
be smart. Use your common sense. Don't drink alcohol and soda and those things.
Right.
Make sure you hydrate up the night before, because if you do it while you're doing it, it's probably too late. So you want to get ahead of the game. Electrolyte replacements are always good. So those Gatorade drinks and all that tend to have a lot of electrolytes in it. Also a lot of sugar too. But you got to preload. You can't just do it the day of.
Okay.
So be smart. Plan ahead for if you're going to be digging ditches out back or putting a porch in or whatever. Make sure you're staying ahead of your fluid count, because that's a big deal.
Just use common sense and try to stay cool as much as you can. Dr. Chris Snyder with TidalHealth, thank you so much.
Thank you all.